Hello, everyone. Let me start by introducing ourselves. My name is Ambika, and my teammate Tarun are going to present what and how do SMEs gain by going international using the following study: a longitudinal investigation of financial and intellectual resource growth by Lei Li, Dan Lee, Anthony Gorizan, and Wei Lee Stone Shi in today's class for international business. We hope you enjoy. So, this study examines the accumulation of financial and intellectual resources of US based biopharmaceuticals due to characteristics such as large research and development expenditures, long product development cycles, profound uncertainty, and complicated regulatory procedures in different countries. A heavily based research industry helps us investigate the longitudinal accumulation on financial and intellectual resources. So, we are talking about SME internationalization. If the SME is based in a large local economy with enticing alternatives, internationalization may not be the best resource growth strategy. Innovative capabilities, which are a combination of internal organization based capabilities, are noted to be significantly important in this case to gain financial and intellectual resources in the sense for discovering productive opportunities and developing knowledge. Due to their characteristics, SMEs could exploit their limited resources and capabilities, such as marketing skills, technological competencies, and partnering capabilities to perform successfully in the international arena. We will now explore what SMEs gain by going international. SMEs gain the benefits of resource exploitation via international expansion in the following ways. The first one being financial resources, which is a set of financial assets of a company that have a high degree of liquidity in addition to cash. The second point is intellectual resources, such as the company's brand, patents, copyrights, partnerships, and customer databases, which are very important. The next are alliance capabilities, which is the firm's skill in getting access to external resources owned or controlled by other firms. The fourth advantage is innovative capabilities, which is discovering productive opportunities and creating knowledge that are essential for SMEs to accumulate financial and intellectual resources. The next point is internal capabilities, which are in-house technological capabilities relating to research and development. And lastly, international presence, where the firm or company is recognized internationally for its reliability, fairness, integrity, and the standards of its company's products. However, internationalized SMEs face a number of problems, some of them being liabilities of operating in the external arena, where internationalized SMEs face a prolonged liability of foreignness when it comes to augmenting their resources and capabilities, despite the intrinsic value of multinationalism. The second problem is the trade off between resource exploitation and exploration for international SMEs. So, the difference is the innovation required for resource exploitation using existing assets to improve the organization, and exploration is the type of innovation it takes for an organization to leave its comfort zone and examine new markets, products, and business models that obliges them to venture into unfamiliar territory. So basically, there is a borderline of what is acceptable and what is probably not acceptable. And the third problem is internationalized SMEs that have to cope with environmental diversity and organizational complexity. This includes in house technological capabilities and alliance capabilities. One is more internally, and the other is externally focused on growing and augmenting firm resources. Another problem are if the benefits are as similar or more significant as opposed to domestic expansion over time. And lastly, SMEs, private SMEs face more challenges due to lack of visibility and legitimacy, which are SMEs that are not publicly traded and have such issues. This article tests seven hypotheses in total, one of them being international SMEs achieve superior financial resource growth over time compared to their domestic market focused counterparts. The second hypothesis is um, internationalized SMEs with stronger in house technological capabilities achieve much more superior financial resource growth over time as compared to their domestic market focused counterparts. And the third hypothesis is internationalized SMEs with stronger alliance capabilities achieve much superior financial resource growth over time as compared to their domestic market focused counterparts. I will now pass it on to Tharun, who will explain the rest of the hypothesis.
Thank you, Ambika. So now moving on to the tested hypothesis number four, which mainly talks about how internationalized SMEs achieve superior intellectual growth over time as compared to their domestic market-focused counterparts. So how effective internationalized SMEs are at finding foreign opportunities to explore and accumulate intellectual resources depends on whether they possess strong in-house technological capabilities or not. Host country specific factors can be important only when a firm has the capabilities to access local advantages. So, SMEs' capacities for exploring external opportunities by leveraging in house technological capabilities may be strained. However, in foreign countries in the short to medium term, due to different geographic and institutional context, which tends to increase the difficulty of transferring management skills, which thereby erode the ability of in house technological capabilities. The challenges resulting from unfamiliar context decline over time, however, as firms gain international experience and develop new knowledge in the distinct host country environments. We possess that SMEs' in-house technological capabilities strengthen the positive relationship between the internationalization and intellectual resource accumulation over time, which is stated as per our next hypothesis. So, hypothesis five, which states that internationalized SMEs with stronger in-house technological capabilities have a much superior intellectual resource growth over time as compared to their domestic market focused counterparts. So, research on organizational routines indicates that alliance capability can be regarded as a distinct dynamic capability. In particular, alliance capabilities are reflected in the organizational routines, which include coordination, learning, sensing, and transformation. Consistent with the concept of relational capability, alliances capability are essentially the part of abilities to shape and reconfigure firms' resource base, basically, right? Thus, through alliances, SMEs explore knowledge outside their organizational and national boundaries, and their foreign alliance capabilities influence the degree to which internationalization contributes to the intellectual resource growth. Um, while there are two authors named Shilke and Gerson suggest four components of alliance capabilities. That is, number one, the coordination of activities and resources with the alliance partners, which is mainly due to sensing for identification of alliance opportunities and the transformation. The SME's international expansion also, broadens the search territory for potential partners. So by experiencing a broader range of alliance opportunities, internationalized SMEs build their alliance formation and post-formation management capabilities. Also, alliances with partners with distinctive values and culture systems can therefore enhance the knowledge and capability repertoire of internationalized SMEs. And also, this effect would be particularly strong in research intensive industries. Yet, this is challenging to manage in the early stage of internationalization when SMEs are still grappling with diverse markets and trust building resulting from liability of outsidership and cross border cognitive and normative barriers. These arguments suggest that internationalized SMEs may or may not achieve stronger intellectual resource growth than their domestic market focused counterparts in the short term, but will likely to do so with the passage of time. Thus, alliance capabilities are expected to capture the intellectual resource growth in process as per our next hypothesis. So, moving on to the hypothesis 6, which states that internationalized SMEs with stronger alliance capabilities achieve much superior intellectual resource growth over time as compared to their domestic market focused counterparts. So, the prior studies indicate that in house technological and alliance capabilities are both important in enabling and facilitating the growth of the firm, especially as it relates to innovation and knowledge generation. The in house technological capabilities tend to be embedded in the existing routines and are often leveraged for resource exploration in accordance with internalization theory. In contrast, alliance capabilities often entail frequent adjustments and are likely geared towards resource exploration in line with the dynamic capabilities based perspectives. So, in fast and rapidly changing environments, there's a need for constant surveillance of markets and technologies as well, and the willingness to adjust the firm structure and operations as per these challenges. Our theoretical argument is that external resources, especially those are knowledge based, are often more useful for a firm new development than internal resources. Of course, the firm needs in house technological capabilities to search for and absorb the relevant external sources so that it can facilitate coordination with the external partners. For resource constrained SMEs, however, the reliance on external collaboration is likely to be more important than the leverage of in house technological capabilities. And the partnering firms can offer SMEs access to knowledge and other resources to overcome the liability of smallness and liability of outsidership. There are also evidence that biopharmaceutical firms, for example, raise far more funding through alliances than through other channels, including internal accumulation. Yeah, indeed, SMEs have to form alliances to compensate for their internal resource scarcity, especially in research intensive industries where alliance capabilities play a vital role in mobilizing networks of knowledge, say innovation and technology. Also, it should be noted that in the short term, SMEs' in house technological capabilities may play a more critical role than alliance capabilities in facilitating the accumulation of financial as well as the intellectual resources, because the effect of the latter has yet to emerge due to the time needed to establish the governance structure for and develop mutual trust in foreign partnerships. Also, in the long term, I should say, however, these alliances, capabilities, and the diverse partner portfolios support the internationalized SMEs coordination and transformation routines for future growth. Moreover, the enhanced alliance capabilities through international expansion can be, transferred mm, transferred to the home operations, contributing to intellectual resource growth of the SMEs back in their home country. Thus, we expect that alliance capabilities have a stronger long-term enabling effect on financial as well as the intellectual resource growth than in the in-house technological capabilities for internationalized SMEs. Moving on to the final hypothesis of this research, which states that alliances capabilities play a major significant role in strengthening financial as well as the intellectual resource growth than in the in-house technological capabilities for internationalized SMEs as compared to the domestic market focused counterparts in the long run, which we already discussed in hypothesis number 6. So now moving on to the methodology part, we selected publicly listed US biopharmaceutical SMEs to test our hypothesis for several reasons. Firstly, the biopharmaceutical industry is characterized by large R&D expenditures, long product development cycles, and profound uncertainty, and also complicated regulatory procedures in different countries. Thus, in-house technological and alliance capabilities are critical for survival as well as for growth in this industry. Second, the US accounts for nearly half of the global biopharmaceutical market for the US biopharmaceutical SMEs. Therefore, domestic expansion is clearly viable option for the firm growth, making the comparison of resource growth of the internationalized versus the domestic SMEs more meaningful. So to collect the data, we obtained the study obtained the sample through several stages. At first, the list of 112 single businesses, US biopharmaceutical firms, were extracted from CompuSat spanning from the year 1987 to the year 2001. And these single businesses firm had at least 95% of their sales from the biopharmaceutical segment from 1987 to 2001. Second, only firms that had existed for at least 10 years during the observation period were selected, as the study wanted to compare the resource growth paths of the internationalization versus the domestic firm. Um, so that's all about methodology. And moving on to the results part, as per the results, the study showed how SMEs enjoy some intrinsic values of multinationality in financial resource accumulation in the longer run. Secondly, it was given that the availability of more diverse opportunities and external resources, internationalized SMEs, which may learn over time to make more effective use of their capabilities for, say, financial resource growth as compared to their domestic counterparts. The third one talks about the alliances capabilities. These alliances capabilities are more important because SMEs in research in intensive industries attract and grow financial and intellectual resources because of learning mechanisms and routines which are embedded in the function and the business processes. Also, SMEs benefit from resources exploration in the longer run because alliance capabilities facilitate this process. And at last, we observe that by leveraging in house technological and alliances capabilities, SMEs do not acquire more financial resources than their domestic counterparts do in the short medium run. So now talking about observation, we found that internationalized SMEs in research in intensive industries may seek to discover new resources or say acquire new knowledge in terms of their international expansion. Secondly, while international expansion may not allow SMEs to collect more intellectual resources than the domestic expansion does, but it does benefit SMEs who have a strong alliances capabilities. Also, only in the longer run, internationalization SMEs outperform the domestically focused SMEs in terms of the financial resource growth. Moving on to the conclusion, we examined like what and how SMEs gain in terms of essential resource accumulation through international expansion as opposed to the domestic expansion over a certain period of time. We find that in research in the intensive industry in a large and advanced domestic market, internationalized SMEs do enjoy some intrinsic value of multinationality in financial resource accumulation in the longer run. Um, but they do not acquire more financial resources, as I said, than their domestic counterparts in the short medium run through leveraging the in-house technology capabilities and alliances capabilities. In addition, internationalized SMEs are found to have able to accumulate their intellectual resources more strongly than their domestic counterparts over a period of time because this is because when they have a strong alliances capabilities. Furthermore, we demonstrate that alliances capabilities are more salient than in-house technological capabilities in facilitating long-term accumulation of intellectual resources and financial resources. So these empirical findings in the research enrich and extended the insights of firm growth and contribute to understanding of specific roles of dynamic capabilities in SME internationalization and innovation. Mm, Also, we note that um, our results inferred that SMEs in intensive industries gain the benefits of resource exploration via the international expansion in the long run. So, to some extent, this inference provided some new insight as to why some firms go international and some other remain in the domestic market. So they do prefer to remain in the domestic markets. I'm talking about some certain firms, not every firm. So now, moving on, relating the entire concept to the taking the study further, we can say why more and more SMEs in Canada should go international because it can boost the economy in several ways. So as of December 2019, Ontario and Quebec were home to more than half of the Canada's SMEs growth on a SMEs growth. Growth on a global scale allows you to conquer new territory and reach out to more customers, resulting in increased revenue. Also, employees in these SMEs based in Canada have a stronger ability to communicate effectively with internationally minded employees who can comprehend clients and culture in different areas because Canada is a home to many immigrants. Also, foreign markets can provide extra investment options for Canadian SMEs seeking international expansion. So we can also say that many SMEs expand internationally in order to diversify their assets, which can protect a company's bottom line from unforeseen catastrophes. So companies having multinational operations for example, it can compensate for a lack of growth in one sector by achieving the success in the other. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to our presentation, and we would like to thank our professor, Dr. Salman, for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.